The 1 o'clock is Hail to the King, 60 Years of Destruction. This is a documentary that was a Kickstarter campaign and independently produced, covering Godzilla's impact on Japan and the King of the Monsters' legacy. So for this part of the program, we have one of the filmmakers. This is the world premiere of this documentary. We're going to run through it. When it's over with, hopefully Kyle will make his way down, and then we'll go ahead and have some Q&A afterward. Hi, Jim.
My name is Kyle, and I am a Godzilla fan. I love nothing more than watching giant monsters duking it out and smashing buildings to rubble, generally terrorizing the cities of Japan. For myself and a lot of my fellow fans, kaiju movies are more than just cinematic entertainment. They are an obsession.
All right. Well, that was fun. That was a lot of fun.
Was it fun?
Yeah.
David's going to join me up here. I'm just going to ramble if I'm not. Nobody's out here to check me. Does anyone have any questions about it? Yes, sir.
Not necessarily about it, but have you or do you plan to make any hard copies to sell?
No. Now, here's the deal with that. We very purposefully did not put any copyrighted material in this film. You guys know about Toho's litigiousness, right? Like how they will slap C&Ds on anybody. I wanted to create this completely without them because I knew there was no way for them to actually, they would never actually help me with it. Unless I paid them tons of money. And while we raised like 20 grand through the Kickstarter campaign.
Thanks to all of you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, by the way, you can sell secondhand, especially if you're a backer yourself.
We would not have happened without all of our amazing backers, yes sir.
So because of that, the problem is that we didn't want to give them any ammunition at all to shut it down. I mean, as this is completely without them.
Right.
And it's possible that I could make like DVDs or Blu-rays of it, but the chances are pretty slim. I will say that I can technically make some Blu-rays, but I don't want to sell them because I don't want to get in trouble, right? I'm going to make one. We're going back to Japan later this year, actually, and there is a chance, I don't know how good it is, that I might actually be able to sit down and have a meeting with Toho, give them the movie, and try and ensure that if I was going to create Blu-rays of it, that there would not be any problems. They wouldn't try and come after me, or my editor. Now, if we are able to make Blu-rays, I would not do just the movie on Blu-ray. It would be absolutely packed with extra features. It would have the full interviews, because each of the interviews is about 15 minutes. And when we were actually there, each of the interviews was well over an hour. So like that's one of the things I would like to include. Photo gallery, I would really like to include on a Blu-ray, the trailer, our daily vlogs, basically anything that we have. I think it's fair game for Blu-ray if we are able to do that. But I would much rather work with Toho in the future than be constantly working against them and watching my back for a lawsuit. Anybody else?
Firstly, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Could you talk about some of the content that you weren't allowed to photograph that you alluded to earlier in the documentary?
Yeah. So at the Tokyo Tower, Yuji Kaida had an exhibit where his original artwork and essentially like high quality reproductions of his artwork were on display. That was really the only thing in Tokyo Tower. That's why we were able to sort of shoot around in the shop area. At the
the worst part was the oxygen destroyer.
Yeah, but I'm going to get
I'm sorry.
So but then we went to the Godzilla exhibition. I don't even know how to describe this. The Godzilla exhibition, actually I'm going to use the screen here. So if this is a map of the entire exhibition, so it had like a winding path you could follow, right? So there was a lot of stuff to see, really cool stuff. There were like 3 spots where you could take pictures and take video. So we were not able to film a ton of things. They had the original oxygen destroyer, Sarazawa's, or Ogata's, or Sarazawa's helmet.
Sarazawa's helmet and diving boots. They had the Guy Guns blade,
That was my favorite
chest
part.
blade, the train that Kong picked up in King Kong vs. Godzilla, and all kinds of awesome stuff like that. And it was a no photograph and no shooting video in there, unfortunately. But in the extra footage, you may see a couple ones that I asked Kyle to distract the guard while I snapped, which was really hard for me to do because I'm a big rule follower, and I did not want to be that American guy who doesn't follow the rules. But I got a couple anyway.
It really was amazing. I will say that. I mean, the entire trip was fantastic, and I'm very, very happy with the trip. I'm very, very happy with how the documentary came out. But yeah, I think Geigen's buzzsaw, that was
pretty
probably
awesome.
my favorite thing. They had a zone fighter. Like, I mean, I could sit here for an hour and tell you all the things that we couldn't show you.
Couldn't show
but
you, yeah.
That might not be interesting. Anybody else? Questions? Yes, sir.
I really liked the part where you were interviewing all 4 of the actors.
I did too.
I thought that was
awesome.
maybe the best part of the whole documentary. It was amazing. How did you contact them and get their permission to do that?
I was just talking about this with somebody else. In 2004, I did a film festival in Portland, Oregon, and at that time, I didn't know anybody. I mean, all of my contacts were all online, and this was before Facebook and before social media. And when I started the podcast in 2009, people gravitated towards it, and that includes people that have connections. And so I've been able to make all these really fantastic connections. And I mean, this would absolutely, would not have happened without the backers, and it wouldn't have happened without those contacts either. So what I ended up doing is I made a call, and the person who I called went and talked to another person, and I had a wish list of actors, and we got pretty much all of them. Yeah, it was really, really, really great to have all those people there, and they had some amazing stories.
It's interesting that you asked that because I didn't get to hear the interview because it was in Japanese. So this is the first time actually hearing their responses to Kyle's questions. And I'm like so amazed at how articulate they were and how gracious and how kind and how much they enjoy all of us still liking their films, and they really do appreciate it. And it was such so refreshing to see. And that it was nice to see what they were actually saying.
Yeah, one of the lines in the voiceover that got cut was me talking about how the actors have essentially embraced their roles as ambassadors for the genre. And, like, you know, actors, it's a job. They could just be like, yeah, I worked on a Godzilla picture. I also worked on a lot of other pictures. But Tsuchiya and Kubo and Kobayashi and Takarada and others as well, they really love meeting fans. They love talking about it, and they feel proud of their work, and it really shows in their actions. And I mean, they were amazing. I mean, like we were in that room for an hour and 40 minutes with those guys, and then we went to the signing, and then we went to the dinner, and then we had this amazing afternoon to evening with them, and it was just.
It was a once-in-a-lifetime experience,
life-changing,
and I never thought that I'd be sitting in the same room with these people that I grew up watching on the little screen on television in the 70s and 80s. So it was just like, I cannot tell you how grateful I am to have been a part of it.
Wow, man. Who backed at the level that got a photo book? How's that photo book?
Absolutely gorgeous.
Beautiful, fresh, right?
Yeah.
Fresh. That's David's work. David is a great photographer, you guys. I'm an adamant that I have a photographer, which is actually, if you don't know, our initial goal for this Kickstarter campaign was $8,000 because I did the math. I said, how much is it going to cost me to get to Japan, stay in Japan for this time, and try and hook up some interviews? really done by the seat of my pants, the whole the preparation work for the Kickstarter campaign. And then once we launched it and we got those amazing backers coming in, like my friend Cindy, who is the executive producer, technically, well, actually technically not the executive producer, but she put up like the top amount of money, which was, that's actually a funny story. I'm going to tell it. So, where is Tim Bean in here? Tim Bean's not in here. Tim Bean, by the way, was amazing at rallying the internet. He's really good at it. And he helped a lot. And while he was helping, in order to do that, you have to give him access to your Facebook page and your whatever profiles that you have for it. So I'm at work, and an email comes in. Cindy donated, $8,000, and claimed this one thing, and I immediately was like, wait, what? And I had to contact Tim Bean. I was like, don't say we just passed our funding. Don't say anything until I can actually contact Cindy and make sure that was not some horrible mistake. Because Kickstarter doesn't take the money out immediately. I just was afraid that she had accidentally tried to donate like $80 and went for $8,000. But no, we could not have done this without her, because she donated that large, gigantic amount, and I immediately had to come up with stretch goals, which one of them was immediate, just with that donation, one of them was already surpassed. So that first one, I think, was to get...
Translator, right?
I think actors. I think the actors. Oh, no, the first one was to get the camera crew for another day.
Yeah, right.
And then the second one was to get actors, and then the third one was to bring along Mr. Dopko here, who took photos. And I am so glad that David was there, because he documented so much. Actually, if you back the documentary, I think at $20 or $50, you got access to the online gallery, which now that the documentary's out, we'll make that public for everybody.
Right.
You can see everything that he's done. Anyway, I don't remember what the actual last question was, but did I answer it?
You did, and then some.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions? Yes, sir, Jim.
Did the actors, you have to pay the actors to show up there and do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, honestly, it's not something you can even really get away with. Originally, I was like, well, hey, I know, just from going to G-Fest, actually, I know Wakasa, and I know Kitagawa, and I know all these people. But we went in the summertime. Guess what they do in the summertime? They film movies. So a lot of people were not available. And I spent, a few days freaking out, like, oh my God, what am I going to do? But in the end, we were able to get the actors. We were able to meet up with, everybody you saw in the documentary, and it was fantastic.
Fantastic.
Other questions? Yes, sir.
Comments as well.
Okay.
One thing that I think that everyone should take away from this is when Tsuchiya was talking about when he was in Chicago, it was at the G-Con 98, and he was there, Satsuma was there, some other actors were there, and they went and saw Gino at one of the local theaters. Satsuma stormed out, said, "This is Godzilla."
Right.
Tsuchiya did. I was in that room.
Oh,
and saw
you were
him
there?
do
Oh,
exactly
man.
that, and everyone Japanese.
Yep.
And so, if you ever wonder how do the Japanese guests that come over react to us, right there. I mean, they move us, but they come over here and they don't know us at all. We move them as well. The other thing I want to point out is I really liked about this was it wasn't, if you watch some of these documentaries on this same topic, it's obvious it's made by a network or something, and they're not necessarily fans.
Right, yeah.
I think of the NHK one that was made, and it's good, but this to me, and obviously for obvious reasons, a fan made it. And, and you were a kid in the candy store that entire time.
Absolutely.
Even when you're not in the candy store.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
comes through the arcade. But it does come
The
through.
love comes through,
Yeah,
for
I mean,
sure.
the excitement and the joy, you did good.
Don't.
So this is kind of interesting. I actually asked Akira Takarada, and he speaks English very well, what he thinks of the 2014 film. And he said, it's beautiful, but it has no heart.
Right.
That from his mouth. It's beautiful to look at, but it has no heart. And that's exactly what he told me.
And they cut the heart out.
Oh yeah, I almost want to make another version of this that's like, you guys remember pop-up video on
Yeah.
VH1? They
Yes.
have like little
Oh,
things.
that would be
I almost want to make another version
On
that's
special
like
edition.
little, yeah, I'd have enough time for that. But one of the things when Takarada says something about, but I applaud the American film's success, I just want to have it go, sick burn, because they cut him out of the movie, obviously. Any other questions for me? Yes, back there. Oh, because honestly, because it took a really, really long time to edit it together. I think most everybody here knows that our initial goal was to have it launch on November 3rd.
Godzilla's anniversary.
Yeah, Godzilla's 60th
Birthday,
anniversary.
yeah.
It would have been great to do that, but I was an idiot. There is no way that would have been possible. Every single thing that was cut together, subtitled, color corrected, scored, was done by people that I was able to tap for this. So the subtitles, I had my friend Naoko translating most of it. She did a fantastic job. She got those back to me very soon, but if anybody watched the backer updates, subtitling takes a tremendously long time to do. And at first I was trying to subtitle the entire hour-plus interviews, and it means you have to look at the translation that's given to you, find the spot where they're saying that, put in the subtitle, and then back it up. Sometimes back it up 4 or 5 sentences to make sure the whole thing flows through well, and it was really, really time-intensive. There was actually a point around January where I was so tired of subtitling that I didn't want to go back into the studio. I was like, do I really have to make this documentary? And I'm glad I did, because the last 3 months I've been working my butt off, and the last 3 months it's been just more and more exciting as I kept seeing cuts of it and kept seeing like Michael McCormick, the composer, like would send me snippets of music to listen to, and I can't believe how many people actually came out and helped for this. So I should say, Michael McCormick has the actual score up for pre-order on his website. If you're a soundtrack collector, you might want to check it out. And Jeff Zorno, who did the T-shirt artwork, he is selling prints of his Hail to the King T-shirt artwork, and they are gorgeous. So they're up in Artist Alley right now.
That's the T-shirt as well. For the one that you've got.
Oh no. This is a different one. Yeah.
Okay, which is
I'll
awesome.
wear mine tomorrow.
Okay.
Off the top of your head, how many hours of film did you film? Did you use Adobe, Final Cut, or After Editors?
How many hours of film?
Oh my god. Like,
Well, we had 2 cameras filming a lot for 3 days. So we probably have close to, I'm just going to guess without trying to do math because I'm an artist, 300 hours of footage. That seems too high. We have a ton of footage. And I mean, a lot of it is stuff we just can't really use. I mean, it's not really something that, there's a lot of uninteresting footage and sure, B-roll or just unusable stuff. And then as far as like editing it, we actually edited this with Adobe Premiere. Actually, during the editing process, my editor has Creative Cloud. You guys know what Creative Cloud is from Adobe. It's basically, it automatically updates your stuff. It automatically updated his Premiere to the next version while we were editing it, and I thought we were going to lose so much work. Yeah. But luckily, everything turned out okay.
turned out more than okay.
The cameras okay, so the stuff that was filmed like in my studio, that was shot on a GH2 from Panasonic, and the stuff that was filmed in Japan with Jim and JR, I believe was a GH4, also Panasonic cameras. Yeah, all of the cameras used in this were the SLRs that can shoot video, because the lenses you can use and the results you get are just way better. That's what I've been told.
Anybody else?
Other questions? In the back. Wait, say it again. Oh yeah, yeah.
He's testing your math.
Yeah, don't test my math. I don't do math. I'm an old man. I don't have to use math anymore. Any other questions? Okay, well, thank you guys so... Oh, you have one.
I was going to ask for directions, but first and foremost, I just wanted to say you guys did a great job, so know that
Thank you.
all the hard work that you guys put into this is really appreciated by everybody, and
Thank
very
you.
enjoyable.
I
So
really
you guys did a
appreciate
great
that.
job.
Thank you.
So congrats.
Thank you so much.
David is a good friend with me and my partner here. And you know that I go to Japan every month.
I do.
But I have never been to Toho Studios, so my question is, how to get to where
Ooh.
you guys were? And the other question is, kind of beat to it, the statue that you guys walk up to, then you just walk up to it?
Yep, you just walk up to it. You don't
Request
have,
access?
it's not
Okay.
actually inside of the building, it's outside.
Yeah.
It's outside.
So anybody
how-
can go see
so
that.
how do you get to Toho Studios? Because in 25 years of me going into Japan almost every month of my life as an airline crew, I've never been.
Okay, so,
Alternate Street.
yeah, so the best way to do it is to take the Odakyu line to Soshigaya Okura, excuse me, that's the stop. You get off at that stop, you walk south down Ultraman Street, which we did not
We did
actually
not
do
do.
that.
We
We
came from a
did
different
the
direction.
next stop over. You walk down Ultraman Street and then you go around. Actually, the best thing for you to do is send me an email. Is Rob Dwyer in here?
He was here.
He was here. He left.
He bailed, I know, he's in trouble.
Rob, my friend Rob went to Japan just a few months ago, and he asked the same question, and I gave him a map.
He has a map of it.
So I have a map I can send you.
Because we've only seen the Godzilla statue in
Ginza,
downtown
yeah.
Tokyo.
Yeah.
Ginza,
In
that's a
Hibiya.
small one, yeah.
In Hibiya, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one.
It's definitely worth seeing.
Oh, it's absolutely worth seeing. Actually, who's going to G-Tour this year? Anybody in this room? Oh man, I figured somebody would.
No.
Well, G-Tour, I'm sure will go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, right.
Right on. Well, thank you guys all for coming out, and
Thank you guys.
Don't go back to the documentary. And I hope if you backed it, I really hope that you enjoyed the rewards that you got. And I really hope that everybody enjoyed the documentary. And
Thank you
I
all for
look
coming.
forward to seeing it tomorrow at 3:30.
Yep. Yeah. Thanks again.
Thanks.